in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. So they got together knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they separated together by knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, either by death or either by migration somewhere else. Those two people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather them together, and He will shade them together in the day of judgment. Another narration that Prophet said that if you memorize Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran, that those two surahs will come on top of your head, shading you from the heart and the sun at that time. Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran. SubhanAllah, it took Umar radiallahu anh. It took Umar ibn al-Khattab and his son Ibn Umar 8 years. It took them 8 years to memorize and really understand Surah Al-Baqarah. So those 7 type of people, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be at least one of them. Which is, if you think about it, subhanAllah, it's not hard to cry in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not hard to give the charity with your right hand so your left hand wouldn't see without showing off. Everything you do in the niyyah, the khafa, with sincerity in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order Adam alayhi salam afterwards. Ya Adam, akhrij ba'ath an-nar. Oh Adam, take the people to hellfire. Adam will say, oh Allah, who are those people who are going to hellfire? And he say, take from 1,999 will go to hellfire, and only 1 will go to Jannah. When the Prophet Muhammad stated this hadith to the Sahaba, most of them got shocked and they were crying, oh Rasulullah, how come? How come 999 will go to hellfire and only 1 will go to Jannah? And Prophet Muhammad, he gave them the glad tidings and he said, don't worry, most of them are Ya'juj or Ma'juj. Most of them are Ya'juj or Ma'juj. Those people that I described, they say they're going to come at the end of the world, killing people, oppressing people. If you read Surah Al-Kahf, the last 2 pages of Surah Al-Kahf, you will know who are those people, Ya'juj and Ma'juj. And before that, subhanAllah, the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He created Adam. If you know this hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wiped on Adam's back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wiped on Adam's back, and we cannot imagine this how. We can just have to believe in these things, because this is the aqeedah, this is the word of the unseen. We cannot ask how. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wiped on Adam's back, and Adam alayhi salam, he turned on his right, and he saw the people of the Jannah. This is way before we were born. And then he turned left, and he saw the people of hellfire. Now when he turned right, he started laughing and smiling, Adam alayhi salam, because he saw his sons and his generations and his descendants going to Jannah. And then when he turned to the left, he started to cry because he saw his descendants and his children who are going to hellfire. So subhanAllah, this is written when or before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created Adam alayhi salam. I will share with you some of the verses from the Quran. Alhamdulillah. So the first one is this wonderful surah that everyone wants to understand and memorize. It's called Surah Al-Takwir. Surah Al-Takwir, the overthrowing. The overthrowing. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا الشمس كورت. Look how many signs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing this day. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. This is very important. And this is the beauty and the sweetness of the Quran. Wallahi, is the sweetness of the Quran. إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ. Number 1. When the sun with its spacious light is folded up. Number 2. وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ. When the stars fall, losing luster, their light, the brilliance of the light. Number 3. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ. When the mountains vanish like a mirage. When the mountains vanish like dirt, mirage. وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ. Number 4. When the she-camels, 10 months with young, are left unattended. Even that is described in the Quran. Number 5. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ. When the wild beasts are herded together in the human habitations. Even the beasts will be resurrected. Even the beasts will be resurrected. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, حتى يؤخذ من القرن حتى يؤخذ من the sheep that has the qurun, that has the horns, it will hit the sheep that didn't have the horn in this dunya. Even that, the sheep or the ram or whatever you name the calf that doesn't have horns, it hit a sheep that doesn't have horn, the one that hits it, in the day of the judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order one that doesn't have horn to hit it back. To hit it back. SubhanAllah. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fair and just. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ. When the oceans boil. When the oceans boil over with the swell. Picture these things with me. So you understand how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is powerful. And how He can subhanahu wa ta'ala do whatever unimaginable. Subhanallah al-Azim. Can you please come forward, brothers? There is some room here. Can you please come forward? Thank you. So وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ. When the oceans boil over with the swell. Number 7. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ. When the souls are sorted out. Being joined like with a like. Like with a like. Because everything in this life or in this existence will be resurrected. Everything. Humans, jinn, animals, insects, everything will be resurrected at that day. Subhanallah al-Azim. How many people can you imagine? Because Allah created Adam to the end. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows each one of us with names and descriptions, and He knows our deeds. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take the slave and He will say, do you remember at that day what did you do? And He will give you the day and the time and the place. And the servant will remember. And he will say, oh Allah, I remember. Oh Allah, just like سترتني في الدنيا فاسترني في الآخرة. Oh Allah, please hide it from me. I don't want anybody to know. But according to your intention and to your niyyah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will do it. But if not, He won't. Because some of the narrations, Prophet say that the one who steals and he's hiding, or the one who committed zina and he thinks he's hiding, and the ones who's committed the haram and he thinks he's hiding from the people, but we're not seeing him, but Allah is seeing. In that day, Prophet Muhammad he said that He will show that everybody will look at him doing the haram. That's how humiliating it is at that day. Maybe you are hiding it, but Allah is up, seventh heaven, on His throne looking at you. Number 8. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. When the female infant buried alive is questioned. As we know, the Quraysh back before the Islam, they used to bury their daughters. If they had a female infant, they used to bury her alive because they only want the boys. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask this infant, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. For what crime? For what crime she was killed? Number 9. وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. When the scrolls are laid open. Each one of us has books. I have my book, he has his book, you have his book, everybody has his book. But the angels on the right and on the left are writing down our deeds. And every word that I'm saying right now is written. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. That every word that you say, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is written, لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Those two angels are writing down, they're very close to you. You are not seeing them. You cannot see them. You are not looking at them, but they are very close to you. They are writing down everything you say. That's what the Prophet Muhammad told Mouad ibn Jabal, Ya Mouad, هل يكب الناس في النار إلا حصائد ألسنتهم. That the only thing, the major thing, and the most important thing, or the most scary thing that we can imagine, that we cannot even imagine, that He says to Mouad, that your tongue can drop you in hellfire. Your tongue. And He grabbed it, He grabbed it, just like this. And He said, watch it. Watch your tongue. Watch what you say. Number 10. وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ قُشِطَتْ. When the world on high heaven, sama, the heaven, is unveiled. Subhanallah. Look at this description. It's unveiled. The heaven is unveiled. How can you, subhanallah, you cannot even think how these things will happen. Only with the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 10. Number 11. وَإِذَا الْجَحِيمُ صَعِرَتْ. When the blazing fire is kindled to fierce heat. Number 12, وَإِذَا الْجَنَّةُ أُزْلِفَتْ. And when the garden is brought near. to the people of heaven. Number 14, what's going to happen? علمت نفس ما أحضرت. Then shall each soul know what it has put forward. You will know what you did in this dunya. And you will know where you're going to go at that day. We will know. Allah says in the Quran, علمت نفس ما أحضرت. That then shall each soul know what it has put forward. The other surah that I started first is Surah Al-Haqqa. Beautiful surah. If you read it with concentration, you will tear. And if you have that iman inside you. Surah Al-Haqqa. The surah is named the reality. The reality, which is one of the names of the Day of the Judgment. The Day of Judgment has many names. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فإذا نفخ في الصور نفخة واحدة. Then when one blast is sounded on the trumpet, that's what I say, Israfil he will blow on the trumpet. وحملت الأرض والجبال فدكتا دكة واحدة. And the earth is moved, and its mountains, and they are crushed to power at one stroke. Subhanallah. يومئذ وقعت الواقعة. On that day shall the great event come to pass. That is the day. That is the day, brothers and sisters. وانشقت السماء فهي يومئذ واهية. And the sky will be rent asunder. It will be cracked. The sky will be cracked. For it will that day be flimsy. لا إله إلا الله. والملك على أرجائها ويحمل عرش ربك فوقهم يومئذ ثمانية. And the angels will be on its sides. And 8 will that day bear the throne of the Lord above them. 8 angels. Subhanallah, how Allah is powerful. 8 angels will be carrying the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Above them. Allah is above. Allah is high than anybody. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam described one of the angels carrying the throne of Allah between his earlobe and his shoulder 100 years. That's how big they are. Now, how is their creator subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allahu Akbar. When you say Allahu Akbar, you know the meaning of Allahu Akbar. You know the meaning of, you say Allahu Akbar, you know that meaning. What does it mean? When you say Allahu Akbar, you think and you sit down and think about the power, about the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How powerful your Lord is that we disobey in this dunya. That it doesn't worth nothing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not even a wing of a fly. And he can take you down in a minute. Not even that. And we disobey him. With Allah's forgiveness. Always ask Allah's forgiveness. Prophet Muhammad used to say astaghfirullah more than 70 times a day. Just say astaghfirullah. No matter what you say, astaghfirullah. He's up there, and always think that your Lord is watching you. To increase your iman, to reach that status of ihsan. To reach the status of ihsan that Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is the ihsan? And he said, ta'abud Allah ka'annaka tarah, fa'in lam takun tarah fa'innahu yarak. That you worship Allah just like you are seeing Him, but you cannot see Him. But He is seeing you. He's looking at you, up there looking at you, what you're doing. Allahu Akbar. يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية. That day shall you be brought to judgment. Not an act of yours that you hide will be hidden. Just like I said. Not an act of yours will be hidden. Prophet Muhammad states in the hadith that the person will come and he will have an interview with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the servant of Allah, he will look on his right and he will see his deeds. And he will look into his left, and he will see his other bad deeds. And he will look in front of him, and he will see hellfire. And he will see hellfire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is interviewing him. Now how each one of us will come and will pass through the situation. Each one of us. You will be in that situation, in that moment. Very scary moment. Prophet Muhammad said, لا تزول قدم ابن آدم حتى